And we've had interesting conversations on Civic Band this year. Lots and lots of we've talked about democracy, service delivery, and we're honing in on one that concerns you and I. Because, of course, the first thing that connects the both of us is that we are citizens, right? And so there's a clause to it, active citizenship. So we're talking about technology and active citizenship. But before I introduce our guests, before I start the questions and the nitty-gritty of the conversation, let's just talk about active citizenship and technology just a little bit. Technology has made things more accessible. Using technology, you can, shape governance better. You can drive civic action. You take governance, you take active citizenship beyond your local level, as many clusters you want to get across the globe. But how far-reaching is this transformation? And the question here is, are digital tools truly democratizing participation? Are they making people active in the digital space? There's the way people use social media now. Some people are just ranting instead of really doing the engagement that they ought to do. So are digital tools truly democratizing participation, or are they only amplifying selected voices, right? And we'll be exploring that conversation on this episode, Technology and Active Citizenship, how platforms are, empowering Nigerians to demand accountability, and what more needs to be done to ensure that no one is left behind in this digital movement. Because one thing is sure, technology is here to stay. And joining us on the conversation today is Akinkumi Oludiran. He is a data analyst at the AI and Data for Society team with Budget Foundation. Hello, Akinkumi.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us about technology and active citizenship. So, how are you feeling today? How was your weekend?
I was strengthened and glad it's another beautiful day.
Yeah,
and we'll surely make the best out of it.
Yes, indeed, beautiful it is. So what does active citizenship mean? People throw that word up and down. Any campaign, active citizenship. So what does it really mean?
Yeah, active citizen, I think the part is that, active is more like an adjective qualifying the citizen.
Yeah.
So, but in the context of governance, democracy, national development, it definitely means that you are someone that you are vocal, you do engage, and you don't just wait for an election cycle before you start speaking up or try to know who's going to represent you at the National Assembly, or will be your governor of your state, or maybe your local government chairman, or whatever the level. So activism is someone that in some is someone that can engage, that doesn't wait for election cycle before he or she engages, and also is vocal about things, about governance, about development, and is conscious of the environment, because you can't just say that those things one way or the other they affect you.
Yes.
So as an active citizen, you must be able to pay attention to those things, those elements around you.
So someone that is vocal, someone that asks questions, someone that does not wait, take a step, demand accountability, and is conscious of their environment, right? So this question now, has technology changed the way Nigerians engage with governance?
Definitely. Our technology has done a lot in our lives now in the context of governance. Technology has done a lot. I think we just celebrated the 26 years, right, of democracy
in Nigeria.
And for me, I would say that one of the greatest evolution that happens to Nigerian democracy landscape in the last 26 years is the innovation of budget.
Okay.
And because you can imagine over 1,000 pages of budget document.
Yeah.
And you can now see it you can see the summary of that enormous document on an infographics that you just see whatever it is, and one way or the other you can relate with it.
Yeah.
So, and that is technology. And the whole lot we've had a lot of innovative ideas around it. Now we are talking about AI, what AI is doing. Even the public officers, they know that yes, technology has done a lot. The way they behave, the way they interact with the public, because I've been a bit conscious about all this. I know the way it was back then, pre-2011. Social media too is around. People, you can, before you wait, maybe there's any breaking news, you have to go fast. To you have to wait till the following morning, and even the radio stations too. They might want to we will also wait. We have to wait for them the following day before we hear anything. But now, you at your fingertip, you can know what is going on around you.
And so definitely it has changed the way Nigerians engage with governance, even other citizens across the world, so to say, right? So in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges that are preventing more Nigerians from using technology to get involved in civic issues? Because I know that not all Nigerians, not all citizens now have access to technology.
Yes.
There's still some places that it has not got into, right?
Yes.
So, but before we even talk about the geographical standing, like the mass, what are those biggest challenges that you feel are preventing the average Nigerian from taking it further using technology?
There are a lot of challenges though. Digital divide is still a problem.
Okay.
So people embracing technology and also get the best out of it, even it limits some of these innovations too. So, and what does digital divide? It's just okay. It's like we all know that it's not everybody that has a smartphone.
Yes.
So due to the whole economic class, some people might not be able to afford a smartphone, the cheapest of it. So that is another challenge. We talk about power supply. You go to the grassroots, the rural areas. They don't. Some of them don't even have access. No, so now they have, when maybe we get to charge their device or
even the basic television need lights to power it.
So, and another thing is infrastructure around internet. So to get data, the cost of it. So another challenge around that is digital literacy. A lot of people, they don't. By the time you show you have an innovative idea, okay, you something around governance, maybe budget, now you analyze it. Sometimes people might not even make sense to them.
Yeah.
And all these devices, to some of them, are sophisticated, so they don't really get to be around it and to understand and to interact with it. So the last one is trust deficit, in such a way that people still believe that budget help, all these things help, so that this thing will bring food to our table. When people that have not, they're having issues around food inflation and the likes, and you are showing them that they will be like, is this thing really bring table to our table?
Can't relate.
They can't relate to it. So, and there are serious challenges.
All right, so thank you for that, for highlighting those challenges. You mentioned infrastructure, access to internet, electricity, talk about the tools in itself. Not everybody has eaten 3 square meals, let alone having enough to purchase all of those things, right? So, but how do we then ensure that digital civic tools are inclusive, especially for communities with low tech literacy or limited internet access, which you've also highlighted as part of the challenges? But then, if we want to make a tool inclusive for all, irrespective, how do we ensure that?
To make it inclusive, we still have to, all these evolving technologies like AI, we are embracing it. Now we have text to speech, so that we can integrate into our devices, and we've seen tools around indigenous languages. So we have tools that, okay, even despite using AI, you can still relate with it in your local languages, and those things they will really help inclusion a lot. And at the same time, it might look like old version, but it's still very relevant. The idea of USSD.
Yes.
So people, because all these grassroots people that we feel they are left out, they can still relate with USSD, because one way or the other, they try to check, even on their phone, try to check their account balance. They try to check maybe all this code, even if they don't have smartphone, normal phone. So with USSD, if there is a technology to leverage on USSD around civic tech and innovation, we can also solve that problem of inclusion. And lastly, the one I will also talk about is this one too looks old version, but there is still kind of relevant. The radio station, the broadcasting radio stations, it has always been around, right? It's still relevant, especially to those in those extremes. So whatever innovation we are pushing out, it's always very important to also leverage on all these media.
So using the traditional media now. So take for instance, someone in a very remote part may not know about the digital tool, but they may get to know about it through radio conversations and all of those things to pick their interest, right? Okay. So what is the role of young people in sustaining civic participation, digital activism beyond trends and hashtag? We understand that on social media now, because everybody thinks technology is on social media. They will forget that, okay, there's still app, there's still web platform, microsite, all those things. So they believe it's just hashtag get involved, hashtag ask question. So they don't know that civic participation, okoja hashtag, it does not stop there. You going to town hall meetings, attending things in your local community and all of those things. So what role would the young Nigerian person now play in sustaining digital activism, particularly civic participation, beyond trends and hashtags?
Well, we can't underplay the importance of social media.
Yes, of course.
We just have to be more strategic. Youths have to embrace a bit of knowledge, a bit of curiosity to ensure that that gap is being filled up. So just imagine a young guy before a legislator or any lawmaker, and you are asking a question based on your understanding about budget, telling them about their constituency. Okay, this is the amount that was assigned to them. Budget released the instructions recently. So if you meet your lawmaker in your constituency and you ask that question, of course that will get his attention.
Yes.
The man or the woman will be like, this guy knows what he's saying. So you have to also equip yourself with that kind of knowledge. You know how FOI works. That's Freedom of Information Act. So you know how it works. Know simple things about budget, so digital data, the revenue, the expenditures. So all those little indicators, just have a brief knowledge about it. Okay, your government is making this revenue. Maybe your state or your local government, they are getting this as a revenue and they are spending above it. Definitely that will result to deficit.
Yes.
So you just have to have just a bit of, okay, how do you want to manage that knowledge gap? I will suggest the young ones with the youth, we should embrace, and we should show a bit of curiosity to learn more, to just know all these things, so that by the time there is a conversation around it, we sound like meaningful and that attention will definitely be given to it.
Okay, so instead of just sitting back and saying it's not my business or I have nothing to do with it, be curious, ask questions, ultimately get involved.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so would you say technology is closing the gap or widening the gap between citizens and government?
I would say the both, actually. The part of the closeness now, we have a whole lot of technology around in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
When we see budget documents, we just move away, but now you can see the summary, the infographics.
Yes.
You can see that. So kudos to tracker. You know the amount that's assigned to your constituency.
Yeah.
You know the way they are spending it. So it has closed that gaps among the
between citizens and the
government. But the widening part now still is all back to the people in the grassroots, the people that they don't have access to the tools that will help them get to know more of this. And the more that technology is coming, the more government wants to leverage on it, and those people will definitely be left out. So we just have to find a bridge between the two so that no one will be marginalized.
Yeah, like finding a balance. Because
yes.
the people that have access to technology, of course, that gap between them and the government is being closed. But then people forget that it's not only technology. People that are in remote area and don't have access to that technology, you have to look for a way that is not related to technology to also get to them.
Yes.
So they don't forget them. That's true, and they don't marginalize them. Very, very correct. Okay, so in your own words, what would you recommend? What would you tell the average Nigerian youth today that still has access to technology, and you know there is also another gap for them to be active citizens? What is your message? What message are you passing across?
Yeah, the message is get involved, because there's no way you want to just say that it's none of your business. It's part of your business. For you to be productive, for you to compete at least on a global level, all these resources, one way or the other, must get to you. So if you're now showing indifference about it, you are just shooting yourself in the leg. So the best is get involved in it. Ask questions. If you don't have knowledge, take your time. Just know the basics. Have curiosity within you. As an active citizen, a young person, you must show interest, show curiosity. Just develop knowledge. It's not necessarily you should develop a career around it, but then show interest. The budget, what does the expenditure, what does the revenue mean? If they spend too much and they did not make up to that, what really it result to? So all those are little things. They count a lot. They really count, and you just have to equip yourself with it and get involved in all those actions.
Well said. Get involved. Don't stop asking questions. You can't get involved so much that they'll say you have over get involved.
No.
I don't think there's an over get involved. Thank you so much, Akinkunmi. We've been speaking to Akinkunmi Oludiran. He is a data analyst with the AI and Data for Society team at Budget Foundation. And if you've been following closely, we've been discussing technology and active citizenship. Get involved, ask questions. I mean, that's the mantra. Go beyond social media, be active, be sensitive to your environment, and where you see lapses, don't say it's not my business. Ask questions and get in touch with that lawmaker and the representative that you have access to there, right? It's been an interesting conversation so far. So thank you once again, Akinkunmi.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Technology and active citizenship, listen to it, full breakdown out on our social media platforms. And don't forget, if you have any questions, any comments for our speaker, our guest, please feel free to leave them in the comment section and it will get across to him and you get your feedback. You can follow us on socials at BudgetNG on Facebook, X, which was formerly Twitter, and Instagram. My name is Nancy Odimegu. Hope you enjoyed this particular episode. We'll see you in the next episode.